Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by number one news provider, Eswatini TV. I am Nondumiso Vilagade alongside Nomakabiso Nkambule. The news. Her Majesty the Queen Mother left the country for the Republic of South Africa on Sunday. The nation showered Her Majesty with good wishes as she left the kingdom through the King Mswati III International Airport.
Eswatini from far and wide descended on King Mswati III International Airport to bid farewell to Her Majesty as she jetted out of the country. The airport was a hive of activity as the nation congregated to extend good wishes to the Queen Mother before she jetted out to the Republic of South Africa. Emakhosikati to His Majesty the King, Balondolozi, and their Royal Highnesses, Princes and Princesses led Eswatini in bidding farewell to the Queen Mother. The nation was delighted to see newly appointed Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini also extended good wishes to Her Majesty in his capacity as the Prime Minister of the country. It was late evening when Her Majesty eventually arrived in South Africa, where she was given a warm welcome. On the news, I'm Sandile Makanya reporting from the Republic of South Africa.
Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini has been sworn in as a Member of Parliament. The swearing-in has been administered by Attorney General Fiso Khumalo on Monday.
With his left hand on a Bible and his right raised, Prime Minister Russell Miso Dlamini was sworn in as a member of the House of Assembly.
Mine Russell Memo Dlamini. Mine Russell Miso Dlamini.
Mine Russell Miso Dlamini. Ngiyafunga
Ngithi ngiyakwethembeka
kuthi ngidawethembeka
futhi
ngiyikhotamele
Inkosi Mswati wesithathu
Inkosi Mswati wesithathu
indlala ifatayo kanye nalabayobusa emva kwayo
ngekulandzela umthetho
Inkosi
ingiside.
Siyabonga Nkosi.
After being sworn in, members of Parliament congratulated him on his appointment.
Simbonile asebenta agijima lapha ka NDMA. Sabona ukuthi indoda lekhona ukuthi sebende ngatimisela. Sekumthandazela nje ukuthi aqhubeke kahle uNkulunkulu amside.
Live likhulumile ngedlala etiningi kusukela ekuqaleni kwekuvota kuze kube kusesibayeni kuthi kuthula nekusimama liyakufuna evele. Labantu lendlela bende ngayo labakhuluma ngayo kuyavakala ukuthi kuthula nekusimama ngokumgcoka ngani ngoba nentuthuko emnothweni ngeke ibe khona
Kuthi sisayembili lo kwendeke ngemuva sikhohle sibuke embili njengoba sibasacela ukuthi sicela ndulankulu lokholwako lemesaba koNkulunkulu vele inkosi yasiniketa ndulankulu lemesaba koNkulunkulu likholwa ke liyaxolela.
Although the Premier did not say anything after his swearing in, it was noted that he did take down notes as different members of Parliament spoke. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Muzim Konda, Parliament.
Senators have been sworn in and they are now eligible to conduct their legislative duties. Most of them are those appointed by His Majesty King Mswati III on Sunday evening. The senators have been informed of what their oath means.
Akusiko nje ukuthi ilip service lesiyendako Mr Clark. Ngumsebenzi lomgcoka lesifungo lesi ngoba sifungo sekuthembeka. Sifungo sekuthembeka ku head of state welive. Sifungo sekuthembeka kubo bukhosi. Sifungo sekuthembeka kulamaswati lekungiwona nimelele wona la eParliament. Sifungo futhi lesikhomba ukuthi utaqhubeka uhloniphe uhloniphe bukhosi utihloniphe nana nawe ngoba usibuko sayo inkosi njengoba ula kulendlu yetimpungu.
Senators were sworn in from 11:30 on Monday.
Mina temaswati Dlamini ngiyafunga ngithi ngitawethembeka futhi ngiyikhothamele inkosi Mswati wesithathu tindlalifa tayo kanye labayobusa emva kwayo ngikulandzela umthetho inkosi ingiside.
One by one, they stood next to the Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo, facing the Senate President's seat, and took an oath. The importance of this oath was then explained.
Simqwa kakhulu lesifungo. Ngiyakholelwa ukuthi noma iroom kumbe ingasekho noma ikhona ngathi angaseluleka Leonard Attorney General kwenta sifungo ungabusasenta kunemthalo ebukhulu kakhulu emndeneni wakwakho nje uwedwa kwehla kwehlele generation naleta kwi generation uthole kusathi saqhubeka kulothe empilweni ngenxa nje usiwephula sifungo.
Senate proceeded to elect president and deputy president. Lindiwe Dlamini retained the former, while Ndumiso Mdluli retained the latter, as they occupied the same positions in the previous parliament. Their election was unopposed. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Patizwe Msibi Lobamba.
Women organizations are happy with the number of women who are members of the House of Senate and the House of Assembly. According to calculations, there will be 25 women in the 12th Parliament out of 99 parliamentarians. This suggests that women form 29.7% of the parliamentarians.
When appointing members of Senate, at least it should be 8 women, and we have seen that the King has ensured that he appoints as per the Constitution. And why are we applauding that is because as a leader, it's always good when he leads by example, and it's also encouraging even in other platforms to say whatever that we do, let's ensure that we respect the Constitution, we do things by as per the Constitution. And also to say this Parliament, we are seeing, not to say we have reached the quota as per the Constitution or we have reached the 50% as per how the SADC protocol, but we are seeing an increase in women's participation compared to the previous years.
We are very much excited, and we are feeling very great of what the results are, as the King, His Majesty King Mswati III, has tried to empower women, more especially in nominating or appointing some women to represent other women in parliaments in both houses. We are very much excited.
The Federation of Organizations of Persons with Disabilities in Eswatini, FOTSWA, says His Majesty King Mswati III has thrown a challenge to Eswatini to ensure that persons with disabilities are included in all bodies formed with the aim of developing various sectors of the country. These sentiments were expressed by FOTSWA President Bongani Makama, who applauded the King for appointing a disabled woman, Stuki Motsa, into the House of a Senate of the 12th Parliament of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
In many instances, when His Majesty King Mswati III addresses the nation, he emphasizes the importance of inclusion of all sectors of society in order for the country to attain sustainable development. This has been the case even during the recently held national elections, and His Majesty has led by example by appointing a woman with albinism into the House of Senate, a deed which is uploaded by the President of the Federation of Organizations of Persons with Disabilities, Bongani Magama.
Is passing his gratitude to His Majesty the King. We are saying Bayete Bulogu to what has happened. To us, it is a great honor for persons with disability. It is the first of its kind. For that matter, she's a woman, and she has experience towards issues for persons with disability, more especially for issues for persons with albinism.
Newly appointed Senator Stuki Mota has this to say.
All I can say is Bayetho Napagat. Issues that I'm passionate about are those of youth, women, and persons with disabilities welfare.
The National Population Census report of 2017 indicates that persons with disabilities constitute over 13% of the country's population. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Mbongwa Dube with Fortune Dlangamandla and Themba Shabango in Babane.
The Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology Principal Secretary Pesheya Dube says the drafting of the Eswatini Indigenous Knowledge System policy marks a milestone in Eswatini journey towards recognizing, preserving and harnessing the invaluable wealth of indigenous knowledge that resides within Eswatini. He said this during the policy drafting led by the technical team from South Africa under Advocacy, Policy Development in the Department of Science and Innovation.
Speaking during the drafting of the Eswatini Indigenous Knowledge Systems Policy, the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology Principal Secretary Pesheya Dube said the policy encompasses the wisdom, practices, beliefs and values that have been passed from generations within Eswatini communities.
This policy will serve as a guiding framework to ensure the protection, preservation and promotion of indigenous knowledge, whilst also fostering its integration into mainstream education, research and innovation. We must work together to compile and document this wealth of knowledge, ensuring its accessibility for future generations.
Mazin Regional Administrator Chief Gicha says the policy will help to preserve Eswatini culture and traditions.
So we've lost a lot of things that identifies us. We lost our traditions, especially through the introduction of Christianity, where it looked like we didn't know God, yet we knew God. Maybe they brought a different way and we ended up losing our traditions and culture.
Director Advocacy and Policy Development in the Department of Science and Innovation in South Africa, Tom Sujanedan, speaks about the importance of the policy.
Of the IKS policy is the protection, development, management, and the focus of this meeting is more on the protection of indigenous knowledge.
The drafting of the policy is in its second phase, and the relevant stakeholders also attended the session. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Mbongwa Dube Nowane.
The SADC heads of state have commended the General Elections Report of the Kingdom of Eswatini. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Planning, Tapsile Mlangeni, says the extraordinary summit was convened to look at possible solutions towards the deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Ingcithile enkulu bokukhulumisa indzaba yesimo lesikhona eveni lase Democratic Republic of Congo lapho kunemsindvo khona kunekulwa lokuthide on the eastern part of the country lesophatamisa nelukhetfo lolutako live lase Congo litabe liselukhethweni ungakapheli lomnyaka emavaka sadake ke uma kune timo leti kanjalo ayaye abambisane alekelelane. Sibonile kwendeka lokho event lase Mozambique alekelelana ngakuthi asitane.
The main objective of the summit was to look at the deterioration of the security and humanitarian situation in the eastern DRC and the reported resumption of the attacks and occupation of territory by the M23 in clear violation of the ceasefire. On another note, the summit received an update on the elections in the SADC member states and noted the report of the SADC Elections Observation Mission to the harmonized elections in the Republic of Zimbabwe held in August 2023 and the general elections in the Kingdom of Eswatini in September 2023, which was free, inclusive, and fair. The summit also reiterated the need for SADC to spearhead efforts towards mobilization of resources for facilitating peace and security in the SADC region. These efforts include reviving discussions to establish and operationalize the SADC Peace Fund and engaging international cooperating partners.
The Kingdom of Eswatini received 86,000 metric tons of maize harvest this year, while the country is working on achieving 140,000 metric tons. The Ministry of Agriculture will be engaging Sithobolweni farmers on technologies that can work in drought-prone areas. The Director for Agriculture, Nelson Mavuso, says the farmers in drought-prone areas need to be capacitated on diversifying their crops.
We will be commemorating observing the World Food Day 2023 under the theme Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind. What we're trying to say is that Sithobela area, it's a drought-prone area, and the people, because of their location, are unable to assess where they can sell their commodities, where they can make livelihoods outside agriculture. For that reason, we're saying those people are working very hard, and we can see a number of livelihood projects, especially when they are given a drop of water. They are making very good use of it. We note that Kubuta, for instance, it's a banana area where a majority of the farmers either working or producing banana in their gardens. And the Sithobela market, you actually will find all the people who are selling there. They will either be selling bananas or anything that is coming from the ground. And those ones are actually those who have access to water. The Sithobela area is a very fertile area, flat, deep soils, but they just need water. We invite everybody to come and see so that they can be able to emulate what those people are doing in terms of sustaining their livelihoods out of using water as the main ingredient. We are aware that if you give them water, there's nothing that they cannot achieve. There are those projects around them at St. Philip's where they are growing sugarcane, and Kubuta, there are these bananas, and those small people who are those people who are around the river streams are able to grow some gardens, vegetables in their gardens.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates.
Can be.
Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV in our sports news tonight. Manini Pirates head coach Ikabot Masosha says the poor run of results in the current MTN Premier League season has affected the team mentally, and for that reason they have asked for a psychologist from the club bosses to assist overcome the difficult period. Masosha was speaking after their recent defeat to Mbabane Highlanders over the weekend.
There's always a talk amongst local football fanatics when giants of football in the kingdom are mentioned, where the name Monen Pirates is always part of the list. The football season 2022-2023 hasn't been good for the Manzini Hub Giant, as they are still looking for a first win of the season after 7 games played.
I've just seen, in the last 2 days, it's now very evident, it's now damaging everyone. It's not only the boys, but everyone in the club. We have a big challenge now. It needs a collective, agreement. We need to come together, sit down and positively identify the areas that we need to correct. It's not like we don't know the areas that we need to correct, but unfortunately we're not brave enough to come in the open and face the challenges as they come in.
The club's chief executive officer, Mhlonishwa Motsa, on a telephonic interview confirmed that the technical team requested for a psychologist and they are working tirelessly with all the relevant stakeholders to put their house in order. Moving along to netball, where this past weekend, the second week of the SBS or Regional League games took center stage at the Coronation Park in Babane.
Lizinga la hoho lisetulu kakhulu ngoba kulama teams lang 8 i-competition isetulu kakhulu ngoba kulalamanye amazone nakhona kunema competitors lamakhulu noma kulama zones la afana Thokolwako na Pigs Peak. So sifisile ukuthi sibe ngoba sisatoba nema games bo number 1 number 2 labatabi bawinile kulama zones lang 3 ukuthi bahlangane kuze kuphume number 1 na number 2 number 3 we Hoho region as a whole. Since our last games before last season, Raiders Masters bekunguye number 1 bese Mambabane Roses kunguye number 2, then number 3 kwakungizandondo. So sifisile ukuthi ay competition yanyalo isetulu kakhulu asibona ukuthi sitawudlala ngendlela lesetulu ukuthi ne-elite nayo itasemukela.
Under the whole region, where there are 3 zones, being the Mbabane zone, Pigs Peak and Thokolwako zone. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.
Parliament lo nyaka